Good morning, Her Spirit coaches and fans. So how are we doing out there? I can see we've got people dropping in. So we're going to give it 5 minutes as usual, just to let the technology kick in for everybody. Everybody gets set up. So as you pop in, just say hello and let me know that you can hear me. Most importantly, let me know that you can see me so that we can enjoy our iMoveFreely class with sound and vision. So I've got about 4 people in there. If you can type and let me know that you can hear me, I think it should start to pop up somewhere. We got 11, fantastic. So feeling the Her Spirit love this morning. My name's Rachel. I am a Her Spirit coach. I'm also a biomechanics coach, strength coach, human movement geek. I am a fan of rebelling against the chair and no rules movement as long as it feels good. So, morning Mel, morning Holly, how you doing? Brilliant, we've got people checking in. So yes, you can hear me, fantastic, that's what I needed, just to see that people can hear me. Okay, so whilst people are sort of checking in, just a few things. Grab yourself a drink. This won't be energetic. This is aimed for all abilities. It is a perfect preparation for movement for the athletes out there, of which I know there's a few, but it's also superb for the beginner. And so all you need is a little bit of space. If you've got carpeted floor, that's fine. If you've got a mat, fantastic, use your mat. And also, if you've got one, can you grab a resistance band? You've still got time. And with that in mind, whilst we've still got 2 minutes, I need you to log out. Yeah, log out. Listen, don't log out yet. I'm going to tell you what to do first. And then text and Facebook your girlfriends who are not yet Her Spirit members. Go now. You've got 2 minutes. Tell them, get online. The HERSPIRIT app is 3 months completely free. So please share it. Let's get this community growing so we can help each other. I'm going to keep... There's always this phase, isn't there? I remember when Mel was doing it on hers, where you kind of come in, you're trying to read the messages. So forgive my face. I'm going to tell you a little secret as well in a moment. Ready for this after last night's session? Not a drinking session. A cycle session, was it? What was it with Michelle? Was it cycling, I think, again? She's been nailing those cycling sessions. Brilliant. So yeah, grab yourself a drink, get yourself comfortable. I'm a fan of shoes off. I don't mind. You do whatever you want. You're in your house. No one's watching you, so you can wear whatever you like. You can do it in your pajamas. You can do it in your pants. Doesn't matter. So there are silver linings in every challenge that we face, right? So it's only day 5. Does it feel like we've been housed in for a month for anybody else? Yeah, it seems to have gone on for ages. But I've definitely this week started to settle into, this is brilliant. My house is cleaner. My secret, by the way, I haven't washed my hair for 4 days. But don't tell anyone. So those kind of things that we can now have a little bit more time for, or it refocuses our energy, doesn't it? Where we're kind of forced to think differently and start to self-reflect and self-evaluate. So you've got to take the positive, focus on what you can control. Good morning, Dean, Kirgry. I haven't got my glasses on. Lou, Tony, Holly. Wow, Soph, hiya, Soph. Keep checking in. So we've got about 14 people in at the moment. Brilliant. Did you hear the clap last night? Were you out there giving it a bit of holler? Yeah, I got a bit emotional. I said to my other half, you come in? He says, yeah, no one will do it. I got outside and I'm in a small village and you could hear the whoops and the cheers and the claps at 8 o'clock for the NHS staff. I thought it was amazing. And it just goes to show that, you know, platforms like Her Spirit is another area where working together, even though we're isolated, we can still, we still got this together, we've still got this, yeah. So, yeah, it was good, wasn't it, Soph? So, okay, so we're there, 30 minutes. Right, okay, so let me just run through a couple of things. Disclaimer, and apologies that we keep having to do this, but it's really important for anybody who's brand new to these live classes that we always kind of give a disclaimer that anybody with any medical conditions, please only begin new programs once you've consulted your GP or someone who can see you. So these programs are really, you need to be more cautious. With the iMoveFreely program, it's a fantastic technique for improving movement and how you feel, and a side effect can be that it reduces pains, low-grade niggles, recurring injuries and things. But it isn't a cure or treatment. It's not a medical program. If you have a medical condition, then you really must, morning Mary, then you really must get checked out first. So just need to say that. Also for pregnant ladies, is that a medical condition? But let's just include those in there separately. But again, this is the perfect program if you're fit, well and healthy, even pregnant or with a medical condition, you've been cleared. This is one of the safest exercises programs on the planet. However, today's going to feel a little bit different to Monday. So I'm doing Monday at 6 o'clock. So on Monday, it was more of an introduction. And while this may still be an introduction for some of you, I'm now going to start to blend in some strength moves. It's still low grade, so it isn't that kind of boot camp kind of feel. But research tells us that if we release a muscle and then we work strength to strengthen the joint ratios in terms of one movement and then the opposite movement, this can help balance out the body. So that's what I'm kind of going to give you today, is a little bit of a feeling of release, work the opposite muscle, and then work the muscle we've released. And so you'll feel that flow as we go through some of these. Systematically, we're also going to go from the pelvis to the spine to the shoulders, and we're going to be releasing muscles, mobilizing joints, and also mobilizing the nervous system. So what do I need? So if you've got a resistance band, grab it. If you haven't got a resistance band, can you find a chair? I'm going to see if I can show you something with a chair instead. Have you texted all your girlfriends? If you haven't had time just now, make sure you do that afterwards. Let's have a look. Mat band. So we're going to do about 45 minutes. Relax, strengthen, pelvis, spine, shoulders, and about strengthening the joint ratios. Are you ready? Now, just one more thing. I'm not going to put any music on. If you would like to just jump over to a music player and just put some nice, your favourite music on, or just open the windows and you can hear the birds sing. How's that? Okay, so have you got a space? So if you move back with me, I'm going to move back to the mat. I'm going to start nice and easy. So you're going to lie on the back. And if those of you who were with me on Monday may remember the 4 signs. So we're going to start with the 4 sign. So I'd like you to cross your right ankle over your left knee, hand on the inside of the knee, and you're going to rotate the leg. But this hand is going to stop the movement, and you're going to apply about 20% of your maximal muscle effort. I'm going to hold it there for 20 seconds while we kind of calm down into our morning iMoveFreely movement session. So just take some deep breaths and we hold it there. It's a very low grade technique, so superb for complete beginners, but also for improving performance levels of the muscles of the hip. And then we release. We're going to swap legs this time, so switch over to the other side, hand on the inside of the leg. So we're doing it slightly different to Monday. So the same technique, so you're rotating the leg, the hand is stopping the movement, and we only hold 20% maximum effort for 20 seconds. Now we're going to do one more on either side, change back, and again just breathe through it. So we're going to do 4, 2 on each side, and then we're going to apply a little bit of load and movement to the hip. So hopefully you've got a little bit of space around you. When we do the next movement, you may need to adjust your position a little bit to give yourself some space. It's not energetic, but you'll see in a moment. Change. Now I'm going to do 3 levels. And each time we do a different level, switch sides for the last one of the 4 sign. I'm going to start with level 1, take you to level 2, and then to level 3. And they should be self-explanatory, so that we're hopefully helping complete beginners, but also taking it up towards the athlete level. Okay, we're now going to move, and what we're going to do, bring the feet together, arms out to the side for balance, and then you're going to drop the legs out and bring them in, and we're going to do repetitions. Now this is beginner level, or level 1, and you can keep doing that, and we're using the weight of the legs on the adductors. This is level 2, So we take the feet away from the floor, keep the knees bent so it's a short lever. And if you feel okay with it, you can go to level 3. And the idea is the movement and the load of the leg works on the inside of the hip. So we do between 8 and 15 repetitions in whichever level you want to choose. You can point your toes, flex your toes, don't mind. Just whatever feels good. You can even move between pointed and flexed. Fantastic. Now we bring the legs down. We're going to roll onto the side. So if you roll to face me, place the elbow underneath the shoulder, open the hips, hand on top, and this time you're going to lift and lower. So beginner level. And effectively what we're now doing is strengthening the outside of the hip. So we're going to carry on with repetitions. Beginner level. Next, level 2. And then level 3, you can take the leg out and in. So you just choose the level, whichever one feels good for you. This is going to take a little bit of stability through the shoulder, which is fine. And whatever level you like, you can put the top on, you put it wherever you like. Have fun. Then you're going to roll over. I'm going to turn my back to you. We're going to do the same on the other side. You can turn your back to the camera if you want to. I'm going to still talk to you. And so again, we're just lifting and lowering. So we're using that bottom hip, and then keep the hips kind of straight through so they're not rotating. Or you can lift the top leg, which is going to work top hip as well. So that's kind of intermediate level if you like. And then we take the full leg, if you want to. And then come back down, lie back down. So hopefully you're still with me. We're going to do that again. So from here, we release. So calm back down again. So your heart rate may have gone up a little bit there. Bring it back down. So it's like an ebb and flow of iMoveFreely, release and strengthen. Kind of release, move and strengthen. And it's been proven to be a fantastic way getting that pelvis to, if you like, desensitize from either being static or overactive, just to put function back in the muscle. So what we're doing here is just generating some energy with these low grade 20%, 20-second holds. Change sides again. So that then when we move and strengthen, they're more likely to adapt in the way we want them to. So again, just some nice deep breaths. Surprisingly quiet this morning. And then change sides. Last one. Deep breaths. And then we're going to go into the adductor strength work. So remember, arms out to the side. Level 1, feet down, maybe onto the toes, just for a bit of freedom of movement. Level 2. And again, optionally, level 3. Play around with the foot position if you like. I don't care. We're just putting some movement and strength work into the adductor muscles. They're often forgotten about, and weak adductors can result, for guys particularly, in problems with hernias and groin strains. So they often get neglected because we're always thinking about the glutes on the outside. Fabulous. Then we bring the legs down and in. You're going to roll to face me. Elbow underneath the shoulder, and then we lift and lower. And again, you choose your level. So if it feels like too much, just bring it down to level 1. If you really want to open and stretch, you can big reach out. But again, it's got to feel good for you. Breathe and lift. Fantastic. Couple more. I don't count reps and sets in particular with strength moves. I kind of feel it, and you know, as long as it's around about similar, I think we can get a bit lost in reps and sets as long as we're around about the same mark. And then onto the other side, lift and lower. And again, you've got your options. And you may find, I certainly find this side harder because my left shoulder is not as good as my right shoulder, possibly because of my right hip that comes from my foot. The body's an integrated system. Just do a couple more for me. How are we doing out there? Oh, I feel a bit better already. Okay. You okay? So we're going to go on to our next flows. So if you just slide down a little way, and we're going to do 2 hip releases before we do the strength work. So we're going to stay lying on the back just now. So this time, hands behind the legs, relax the legs down, and then relax everything. Now we're going to press the legs into the hands with 20% effort and hold for 20 seconds. Exactly the same technique we've just tried. And as we hold it, we're generating low energy within the muscle, 20 seconds. We're going to go straight into a hip flexor muscle energy technique this time. So feet go down, first leg, you're going to press the thigh into the hands, 20% effort, hold for 20 seconds. So in many cases, stretching doesn't work or it feels uncomfortable, and stretching is where we lengthen the muscle, it's the opposite. Whereas these muscle energy techniques, change sides, can often have a more profound effect on muscles that feel tight or tense. They're low grade, they're sort of just 20% effort, so anybody can do them. And relax, hands behind the legs. They've actually been researched twice and been proven to be fantastic at releasing and improving muscle function, both for reducing injuries, recurring injuries, reducing low-grade niggles, and also improving performance. So we let it go, and we do the hip flexor again. Just let the leg relax down. Try and do these in a relaxed state rather than kind of bracing and holding. It's just really super relaxed, and then just press into the hand. And then we do the same on the other side. So exactly as we did with the adductors and abductors, so the muscles that bring your legs in and out, we're now going to do flexion and extension. So from here you can take the arms out to the side again, and then we're just going to toe tap is level 1. So we're going to now load, move and strengthen the hip flexors. Level 2, you take the legs straight out. Again, I don't care what you do with your feet, you can point them, flex them, whatever you want to do. And this is going to challenge your trunk a little bit, so make sure this is nicely braced, but try not to press down, try and keep it all in neutral, so you can put your fingertips under your lower spine, check that that's not kind of arching. And then level 3 would be kind of a long scissor. That's going to feel super challenging on the core because the muscles that flex the hip attach to your spine. A little bit of anatomy there as well. Now heels down, and we're going to take the hips up and down into bridges. So most of you have probably done kind of bridges. I really love this position because not only does it strengthen through the back of the body into the lower back, it also opens up the hip. So this is your kind of level 1. Level 2, we hover the arms off the floor overhead. And then level 3, we take one leg with us and we alternate. So you're kind of coming up on one leg, you're taking one base of support away, and you may want to do that with the hands down. That's okay, and we alternate until we've done between 8, 10, 15 repetitions, you decide, and release. Round 2, hands behind the thighs, relax the shoulders away from the ears, press the thighs into the hands and breathe. How nice is that? Let it go. Hip flexor on the right. Relax. I kind of like the relax into the strength and the relax into the strength, because sometimes if you've had a chaotic day, if you're a little bit stressed, the idea of them being full on energetic might be a little bit too much to get you started. So if you know, for example, with this type of training, that actually there's a little bit of a relax, kind of mini meditation sections prior to then doing, like getting you revved up for the strength part. I kind of like that ebb and flow. It's just different, maybe, to some styles of training. Change sides. And I think the thing with exercise and movement and training, in my world, there's no rules. It's what feels good. It's what motivates you. We shouldn't strive to be like everybody else, change sides. And often other people's worlds are not as we see them. It's about feeling good in your own skin, in your own body, and allowing yourself to just enjoy movement that you feel good at, or that you enjoy doing, and allowing your body to move the way it wants to. Fantastic. You ready for those hip flexor techniques? So toe tap, leg extension, or scissors. And again, you choose. If you want to check that your spine is staying still, just add the fingertips under the lower back, and you're trying to make sure, whichever your level, that the pressure on your fingers stays the same. So it shouldn't come down and it shouldn't lift off. Yeah? So whichever one you're choosing, or a combination like I'm doing here. And then feet go down and lift and lower. Even the strength moves I enjoy. Good. And lift. Next option if you want it. Or again, you've got the option of alternating the legs. And again, don't worry about setting yourself too much. As long as you're feeling the strength and nothing's uncomfortable. Everybody looks a little bit different during even the same move. And that's okay. We're all designed slightly differently. How are we doing now? So that's the pelvis. Okay, so just rock yourself up. Cross your legs. Okay, just settle in. So we're now going to release and condition through the spine. You take the arms out to the side. Now this one takes a little bit of getting used to. And again, I want you to be relatively relaxed, kind of not too upright, but not too slumped. Just bring yourself to kind of a midpoint. And imagine your arms are between two pipes. And you're just going to glide. So what we're not doing is side bending. You're just going to glide. A tiny movement. If you imagine your rib cage is just gliding over the hips. So we don't want to go too far. This isn't mobility, this is muscle release. So it's very small, very gentle. It's called gliding. And then from there, bring one arm underneath, take the other one over the top, and you're trying to keep the hip down on that side, and then bring it back, and we go the other way. And then what's happening is your body is loading the muscle, and then come back and glide. Mine feels better already. So this is an area of my back that usually feels a bit stiff because I sit at a desk. Breathe. And back. So when we think about strength moves, it doesn't always have to be dumbbells, which I know a lot of us don't have at home. I mean, I do, but many of you don't. But we can use our body weight. And we can use time under tension rather than repetition like we're doing here. So we release and then we load. And if that's too much, you just bring the arm down and then that's less of a lever, or you just don't go so far. And then the other way. Oh, that feels better already for me. Fantastic. We're now going to go into a little spine mobility drill. So we're going to flow between a variety of movements, about 4 or 5 movements. And we're going to start here. So we're going to start with pelvic tilts. So now we're going to arch and press down because we want to move that lumbar spine. And the idea is we shouldn't be uncomfortable in any of these. So as you tilt your pelvis, that's going to lift the back and then rock it down. So extension and flexion. And if it feels tender, stop just before you go into that tenderness. So we do about 6 to 8 repetitions. And then with the arms out to the side, bring the knees together, keep the shoulders down, and rock onto the side of the foot. Now, the aim of these knee rolls is not to get the knees on the floor. It is simply keep the knees and feet together, and that focuses all of the movement through the lumbar spine. If we allow the knees to drop, the movement has come from somewhere else in the hips. So you're literally rocking onto the outside of your shoe or your foot. And then what I want you to do is bring your hands over the top of the knees, and as you push your knees away with your hip muscles, curl up and round the spine. Go back down, do that again. Inhale, exhale. Oh, that feels good. So you know I like this one because I'm not very good and it just feels great. I don't move that far. I feel like I'm moving miles. But when I've watched it back, I know I'm not going that far, but that's okay. I'm getting the benefit. Come back down, and then we hit up, back down, and again, this is more of just moving through the opposite movement to the one we've just done. And then if you lace your fingers, feet apart, and then we take a shoulder roll. And we're trying to keep the hips nice and still. And then just have a look at your elbows and your wrists, because if they're bending, that's kind of like taking the movement away from the area we want it. So keep the arms locked. Don't worry if your movements are smaller than mine. Keep the arms straight, wrists straight, and just go as far as you feel comfortable. And then we go through that flow again. So tilts. Again, I'm not counting, we just feel it. I want you to think about it and feel it more than worry about reps and sets. Yeah, we're just going to do it for a period of time. And hopefully second time through it should start to feel a little bit better. Mine certainly does. Try and keep those knees level. And then we're going into the flexion one. Hands over the top of the knees. Push away. Round it off. Oh, yes. Round it off. Let me know, by the way, guys, when you get a minute, whether you've played music. I'd be quite interested. I like the silence. Great, okay. And then from here, shoulder rolls. I think this is one of Mel's favourite, isn't it, Mel? The cyclists out there will like this series, I'm sure. So the nature of some sports is that you might feel certain exercises feel better. Good. How are we doing on time? We're good, okay. Okay, how's that? Feeling okay? I'm going to bring you up to sitting. And again, just relax here. Good. How are we doing out there? We're going to do the glides again. So if you take the arms out to the side, I want to see how these feel this time around. So second time through. And then we're going to load it. So we take the weight of the arms and the head over. Bring it back. I'm actually sweating here. Anybody else sweating? Gliding. Even though it's got a bit cooler today. And breathe. Shoulders, let the shoulders relax down. And you might feel like you can go a little bit further. Don't need to force it, just let it happen. Same the other way. And that is a loading that we've got. So it's not just a stretch, it can be a stretch. But what we're doing is actually releasing some little muscle called the quadratus lumborum. And it goes from your hip bone up to your ribs and into your spine. And it's one of those little muscles that generally a lot of people feel and talk about, even though they may not know the name of it. They certainly know where they can feel it. So some of you may be feeling that right now. We'll do one more. Easy glides. And then load. So we're coming into, in a moment, our shoulder series. A couple of shoulder flows. And then we're going to go into a final full body flow. Okay. So we're now going to do a release for the upper traps. So you may feel this, cyclists, desk workers, mothers. But we're going to combine the upper trap release with the median nerve release at the same time. So what I want you to think about is where the upper trap on this side, it goes into contraction. I want you to use your opposite hand over the top of the head, and you're going to lift your head into your hand with 20% effort. So the same idea that we did on the hips. Then you're going to rotate the arm outwards, and very slowly you're going to take it out towards the tension and then bring it back. So what we're doing is a combined muscle release, nerve mobilization. Now you'll see my arm is moving really slowly. That's super important. Then we can release and do that again. And what we don't want to feel when we move the arm is that you go into a tingle or too much tension, or it makes you pull back. We just want to find the point of tension and bring it back. You may find the point of tension further away or closer than I do, but just find it and then bring it back. And if it's too much, you can just do the upper trap release. Super slow. We're going to change, go the other side, so hand over the top. So you're lifting your head into your hand, and so what you're doing is engaging the muscles that pull the shoulders up. They also lift the head. And then slowly up and adduct. So what we're doing with the arm is just moving the nerve, and it actually passes through a brachial plexus in the front of the neck. So now what we're going to do is strengthen the opposite action, which is to push down. So we're just going to turn side on, and we're going to use body weight, so the shoulders are up, and then you're going to push the body off the floor. So as you're doing that, you're strengthening that kind of back and down posture, just using body weight. Now the further away your feet are is going to make it harder. I actually quite like this one with the feet closed because I'm not great. My shoulder design is just not a great design. My geometry is such that my genetics are not fantastic through my shoulders. And then we face front again, and we go through the upper trap release, median nerve release at the same time. 20% with the head. Gently ab and adduct around about 8 times. Let it go, and then we do that again. Can you hear my puppy outside the window? He's heard my voice. Hopefully he won't get too noisy, bless him. Change sides. So lifting the head, 20%, slowly ab and adduct. If you feel like the median nerve is giving you more space, go a little bit further, but again, don't go into the tingle. Just go to the point where you just feel the tension, the beginning of tension, then bring it back. And then we've got that scapular depression, strength move, and again, 8-10 reps. And you play with the movement. I like to, rather than just going through reps, you could come up and then slowly lower, squeeze up and slowly lower. I'm going to do that one more time. Hand over, nice and slow. And these nerves, if you carry on going, the median nerve is actually the culprit of medical conditions like carpal tunnel. So if you have carpal tunnel, you shouldn't be doing this unless you're under the guidance of a clinician. But this is a great way to reduce your risk of getting carpal tunnel, which is where there's a little like tunnel through the wrist that the nerve passes through, and it starts to close off if you're too static, or if you do a repetitive sort of job. Change sides. And so what this does is it just starts to glide gently. So you may feel it go kind of down into your hands. You may get a little tingle. A little tingle's okay, but don't, as long as it's not kind of residual. Super gentle. So again, kind of cyclists, manual workers, manual therapists, people who sit at desks can often feel this quite a bit. And then we go into scapular dips. So from here again, press down. You could make it harder just by lifting one foot as well. Do a couple of reps there and then change. Playing with the weight of the body, that's going to make it harder again from the balance perspective. Few reps. And I have to really think about pulling my shoulders back because of my desk job, having that round shouldered position. Okay. So then we're going to go into a release for the muscles that pull the shoulders forward, so pectoralis minor. So if you place one hand onto the opposite shoulder, going to go side on, and then you're going to push your shoulder into your hand, shoulder back first, and then push it with 20% effort and hold for 20 seconds. And again, as I mentioned before, whether it's the hips, spine or shoulders, this technique has been proven really effective to let the muscles go. Go to the opposite side. We're going to do one more on each shoulder before we work the opposite. So if you've got a resistance band handy, just grab it now. And if you haven't, don't panic, have a chair nearby. I'm going to show you two options. Change again. So shoulders back and down, push. And this is a fantastic complement to the upper track one. So these two muscles really change the position of the shoulder. They adapt to our environment, desk working, cycling and things. Stress. Change sides. So option one is going to be for people with a resistance band. And so what you're going to do to work the opposite movement of the one we've just done is you tie the band around your feet and you just simply pull back. So if you guys carry on just there, so shoulders back and down. If you don't have a band, grab your chair. I'm going to show you another option. So grab a stool, a chair, a box, the toy box, kids' toy box. And so if you tip over, like a deadlift position from here, take the chair and you can use the chair. And what you actually get here is a bit of extra work on the back and the glutes. So carry on and do a few reps and then push the chair back. And then we're going to come onto all fours and we're now going to drop the body through the shoulders and push away. So this is now strengthening and moving through the shoulder joint, forwards and backwards. And again, just a few repetitions. If you want to make this harder, obviously you can take the knees back or onto the toes. One arm. Not there yet. Okay, so back to the release. So I'll just go side on here. So we press the shoulder into the hand. 20% effort, 20 seconds. So the ebb and flow again. Change sides. So you can see how easy these can be, even if you're just sitting watching. Boris gave us his daily report. Some of these techniques you can do while you're sitting, if you're homeschooling the kids. So while you're sitting on the chair, you can do the 4-sign one. And just clear the floor space and roll around on it rather than sitting on a chair maybe. The body is designed to be dynamic, and sitting isn't bad for us, standing isn't bad for us, but static posture for long periods, that's what it really doesn't like. It's designed to move. So it's understanding how to move. And as I say, in my book, there's no rules. As long as it's comfortable and it feels good. Take the band if you're using the band here, and you guys keep going. Chair guys, or kids' toy box. If you've got weights, obviously you can use weights, and we're just pulling the shoulder blades back, and the idea being that we're strengthening those posture muscles around the back. Keep going, a couple more. And then back to 4-point kneeling from here. And then we keep the elbows locked, drop the body, and then push the body away. Drop the body, push it away. Level 2, lean into it a little bit further, so you've just given yourself a bigger lever. Push and release. Push and release. Option 3 takes a little bit more. That's going to work your trunk and your core at the same time, and harder isn't better. So understand that options are simply to allow everybody who's watching, all levels and abilities, to enjoy and feel successful with movement. How are we doing out there? Do you want another set? Let's do one more set, and then we're going to do a full kind of flow, just to feel the benefits of everything we've just done. Yeah. So hand on front of the shoulder. Breathe. It's a sunny day again, a little cooler than yesterday. Change sides. So if you practice these kind of techniques on a regular basis, chances are you're going to feel better. We did some trials with a group of subjects, and after 2 weeks, 95% reported they had pain reduction. Now, as I've said earlier, change sides, it isn't actually a pain relief program. And so we need to be mindful that any medical conditions will influence this, but if you're healthy and you're fit and you just got some little aches and grumbles, there's a good chance that the iMoveFreely program can help change sides, particularly if your therapist or the medical world are kind of scratching their head. Yeah, when it comes to, I've got a sore back, and they say, well, there's nothing wrong with your back, it looks okay on an MRI. These kind of techniques are super safe and can have huge benefits. For those athletes out there who may also have niggles, grab your band, guys. It has also been proven that improved muscle function will improve and optimise performance. Good. So using your chair, those guys who don't have a band, you can use your chair. And again, you can make this one harder just by wrapping around a little bit more. And then we're going to flip onto 4-point kneeling and press through. So just before I flow, I almost forgot, we're going to do a sciatic nerve mobilisation. What level are we on? Are we here? Mel, are you here? With your shoulders? Fantastic shoulders. Good, how are we doing? All right, last one. So sciatic nerve mobilisation. So again, we're going to come through to kind of come towards the bottom of your mat or the floor space that you're in. You're going to roll down. I'm going to show you first option and then a second one. Take the legs over the top. Now your nervous system runs from the top of the head, down the back of the body, down the back of the legs. So here, you may well feel the tension already, yeah? And pointing the toes will shorten the nerve, take tension off. And then when you, one by one, you can either flex the foot, and you should feel the tension increase on the flexed foot side, or you can kind of pedal the legs, but a bit like we did on the arm, do it nice and slowly. Now, if that's too intense for you, tuck one leg in, and then you can literally just roll forward, slump, and then you can pedal the foot. So you come forwards until you find a point of tension. It's the beginning of tension, tingling, tightness. So we don't want to, it's not a stretch as in really want to feel it. It's find the tension and then take it off and add it back on. So stay nice and still and just move one joint. Just move the foot to find the tension on and then reduce and on. And when you lift the foot, you should just be going to the beginning of the tension. So with the nervous system, we need to sort of calm it down. It is the software of the body. It tells your muscles what to do. And if we don't treat the nerves kindly, they can actually make the muscles hang on a little bit more. If you're doing this one, then obviously switch sides. If you're on your back, come on up, take a breather. And we're going to do this one again. And we're going to all go through it again. And you do round about 8 repetitions, but I just generally carry on, even when I'm not talking. I just do a few until I feel like I want to change. You could also do this with both legs out. So I would start with the toes pointed, roll down, and then just pedal the feet. It's always with each one is just making sure it feels good. If you have a sore back and you prefer being on your back, do it that way. If you're not as mobile in that position, if it feels awkward getting the legs over the body, you can come into this position. And it is just about going into a kind of a forward flex position. I'll give you another example just in case. You could do it on your side and just come into here, and then you can just pedal the foot, and then you could just switch to do the other side. And again, no rules, it's just about playing with movement. How are we doing out there? How are we doing for time? Oh, 5 minutes. So we're going to do a 5-minute flow just to feel movement. Are you good? This is just, we're just going to move through. Now what I want you to do is, you don't have to follow me completely. I'm just going to start going into positions that you can join me with, yeah? So we will start nice and simple, just start, breathe. And what I want you to do when we go into each position is just kind of wriggle in it. It's not kind of like get there and hold in this particular session. I want you to get there and just, what's happening when you kind of move around a little bit is it's like motion is lotion. You're kind of oiling the joints. And so when you reach through, feel the spine move, change to the other side. As you sit back, can you see the kind of range you're getting in the hip and the knees? So again, if you feel it, just move and adjust into your preferred forward position. And then cat-cow, I'm sure Caroline will be showing you some yoga versions of these types of positions. And she may deliver them differently, and that's okay. It's just about variety and feeling movement. I like to get a bit of a wiggle on here, so I think this is known as a cat and a cow. And I have a wiggly cat and cow. And then just stick the bottom in the air, known as a down dog, I believe. And then just pedal the feet, and then just see if you can push your shoulders towards your knees, chest towards the knees. You can rise out like rising up and down on the toes. And then if it feels okay, bring one leg forwards. And if that's enough, you can stay there. If you want to put the knee down, you can stay there. And again, you don't have to do all of these positions. You just go to where it feels good. Just move around. Now that we've done all that nice moving, releasing. Another one to try, I couldn't do this a few years ago, is to bring the heel up at the back. Can you do that one? Give yourself a bit of a space between the front foot and hand. This one is nice for that front kind of line. I was sitting at a desk a lot, and so I had to practice that one. So just remember, if any of these movements feel challenging, then each one is a benchmark for over the coming weeks as we do more iMoveFreely sessions to see whether they start to feel easier. So even though I've been a human movement fan for 30 years, I was a professional dancer, when I started doing some of these positions, I thought, good grief, I didn't think that was going to feel like that. Good, and then you can lower down, we go the opposite way, so I think also known as a cobra. And then I like to do this kind of like little walking up, and then the hang. So the hang, if we hold that nice and gently, and again you can just move the knees, and again that's putting length through that the sciatic nerve that we've just done the release on, mobilization on. Maybe take the arms over the top. I like to play, and then coming down into our kind of caveman-y squat. Again, if you're not down here, that's fine. You can do it here, or you can come into a half position and just play with these positions on one leg at a time. If you are there, and then just pushing the knees out, and you can reach up and behind, let the arm waft around. And then taking the feet out. And that again, we're looking at moving through the adductors, so just dropping the hip on either side, coming up, and then reach. I'm getting warm now. Try this one with a bent leg. Is it a triangle, I think, in yoga? And then back up. Turn the foot as you turn out, and again, just pushing through the leg. Back down. Reach. And I'm going to come into a close. Oh, look at me. My 4 days unwashed hair. Okay, so how did that feel? Let's have a little look, see if I can see some of these comments, and just imagine coming up and everyone's going, can't hear you. Shoulders feel amazing, fantastic. I can't scroll. Oh, I can't scroll. Okay. What I'm going to do, I've still got 19 of you in there, so hang on. What I want you to do is post, please. Post how that feels. Post if you've got any questions. Post your favourites. Post if there's any confusion, anything that felt tough for you. You can do that privately. I've got no problem with you messaging me privately. what I want you to now think about is staying healthy, obviously, eating well, and that brings me to the next session, which is at 6 o'clock tonight with Mel and Holly. They're going to be doing a cooking session, I believe. I missed actually what it was, so I'm sure they'll let you know. Just a few points before I let you go. Number 1, take your phone when you finish this video, sit down with your drink and your breakfast, whatever it is you're doing, text all your girlfriends. Put it on your social media, put it on your Instagram, put it on Snapchat, put it on Facebook. It's free for 3 months. Guys, we've got access to fully qualified, amazing coaches. Some of the guys that are coaching, Michelle, Sophie, Mel, some of these guys, I mean, they're just phenomenal. And I know you've got some more that are going to be coming up soon. Giving this advice for free. We're giving you sessions because we care, because we want to keep this togetherness going. This Her Spirit kind of ethos is something I feel really strongly about, which is to not compare ourselves to each other, not worry about six packs, not worry about, nails and eyelashes. These are going to be falling off in the next couple of weeks, and I don't care. That's fine. It's about feeling good in yourself. It's about loving yourself, enjoying pot bellies, wobbly thighs, cellulite, whatever you've got. We've all got it, by the way. And just embracing feeling good. Health and feeling good will bring with it any aesthetic beauty that you have. And so just keeping that ethos going. Tell all your girlfriends. This is one of the healthiest platforms I know. And it's the only one I know that's giving the free kind of sessions that we're all doing as you've gone through today. So do let me know what you think. Let me just check what have I got in here. So yes, 6 o'clock tonight with Holly and Mel. I'm going to be back on Monday at 6. So I'd like to know what you like, what you don't like. By the way, I've got really thick skin. And so if there's anything you're not sure about, oh, I didn't like that, then just give me a shout. If there's anything more you want or need, then let us know. And most importantly, if you feel like you want to talk to somebody, if you are isolated and you live alone and you're struggling a little bit, confidentially, I'm happy to spend time on a video call if that's helpful, or just on a phone call, just to talk through things. If you want to have a moan, a cry, a sob, a rant, I am perfectly happy and willing. I would like to help. Or if you know anyone, then obviously guide them towards the HERSPIRIT app, where we as a group are coming together to help each other feel great. And I'm just going to have a little read because I think your posts are coming up now. So excuse me whilst I do the gourmet stare into my phone. Shoulders, hi Sarah. Shoulders are my faves. Yes, they are for me as well. I think shoulder pain is the new back pain from our routines. Yeah, yes, so Mel's just pointed out a lot of these flows, there's a lot of this stuff which is in the movement section, the body section on the app, so you can find them anytime you like. So if you can't make, or any of your friends can't make some of these live sessions, then they can go and have a look there. But I think these sessions are also recorded, right? Let me just flick through. Sorry, my gourmet face. Hi. Just checking if there's any questions I can do. Community wouldn't be moving. I need this. No music, I like the silence. Me too. Spine is so stiff. Yeah. So I think one of the points to make, if you do feel stiff or kind of awkward in some moves, kind of embrace the fact that you've just benchmarked that area, so that as we go through this over the coming weeks, my fingers, there you go, you can start to feel it get easier. I struggle with just sitting cross-legged. What can I do? Oh, my apologies, Holly. So I'm not sure which technique that was in. Maybe the shoulder ones. So you could literally just sit with the legs out straight. Not a problem. Or if you had a cushion under the back of the knees, you could sit and bolster them whilst we do those shoulder ones. Sorry, I missed that one. Good. Brilliant session. Fantastic. Shepherd's pie. Is that what you're doing tonight, Mel? Ready for another stress day in social care? Well, Jill, good for you, mate, in your day-to-day job. Stay safe, take care. Stressy day, I'm sure. Really good, feeling much better, good. I can't scroll, I agree with you. I'm virtually blind without my glasses. I'm just about... Yes, there's a private message section, Mel's just pointed out. So if needed, 2 frozen shoulders. It can help with that, Lou. Just be mindful of whatever your therapist has said. Silence with Mority. Okay, I think that's about everything. So go get a drink, have some breakfast, throw open the windows. You might need to stick your jumper on today. Take a deep breath of fresh air and carry on doing some of these techniques. Maybe try them again a bit later on. And then at 6 o'clock, check in with Mel and Holly. Looks like it's shepherd's pie. So I'll see you all, if not before, on Monday at 6 p.m. for some more of the same, right? Have a great day, guys. Thank you for joining me. Have a good weekend. Bye.